Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining. Super excited about this webinar today. Again, really excited. Let's jump into this. This is called How Can Project Managers Use Data to Make Smarter Project Decisions? My name is Bill Dow. I am super excited to be here. Let's jump into this. Your projects will continue to fail. Let me say that again. Your projects will continue to fail. But do you know why? Okay, hold on. Before I get into that, let me give you my background. Who am I? My name is Bill Dow. I have 30 plus years of hands-on experience. I've ran 10 PMOs across 4 different companies. I've worked at Microsoft for 14 years, AT&T Singular, University of Washington. I am a presenter and a speaker around the world. I've spoken in Las Vegas, San Diego, London, England, India, Boston. I think I was in Boston, Vancouver, Toronto. I've been in a lot of different places. I got a great YouTube channel. Definitely check that out. Dow Publishing. BillDowPMP.com is my blog site, and I've written 6 books. PMO Lifecycle, Building, Running, Shutting Down, Project Management Communication Tools, Tactical Guide for Building a PMO. Way back in 2008, Project Management Communication Bible. Then I wrote PMO Service Offerings, how to select the right services for your PMO. Then I wrote PMO Best Practices, Continuous Status Monitoring, right? They're up on Amazon. So really excited. I'm really passionate about this area. I absolutely just love sharing PMO and project management best practices, and so excited about getting into this. Oh yeah, right. I forgot. Every year and most years, I'm in the top influencers in the world. So in 2021, I was named top 4. In 2020, I was in the top 16. In 2022, I was named in the top 8. So I really appreciate being nominated year after year. It's a great honor, and it really helps me keep driving and keep sharing my best practices. Okay, so project managers are still making project-based decisions with their gut and not with data, right? So projects will fail when you don't use data to make decisions. I just want to say that again. Your projects will fail when you don't use data to make decisions, right? Your gut alone won't cover it. So the truth is, project managers are busy, very busy. And taking the time to review the data seems like administrative overhead. I hear it all the time. But what are project managers doing? Why are they so busy? Well, they're running multiple projects at once. We all know that. They're working in a remote environment that makes project communications twice, if not 3 times as hard as it once was when you can walk down the hall and go see someone in their office. They're dealing with countless stakeholder challenges, right? It's even worse now that we're in that remote environment. And then they're off on vacation, they've got time off, they've got team meetings, they've got administrative items. Project managers are busy, right? And there's no question that they're busy. No one's saying that they're not busy, right? Everyone knows that they're busy. So the question is, how do we help project managers go from using their gut to using data, because we all know that they're so busy, right? Does that make sense? So it all starts with 2 concepts, and concepts that I've used for 30 plus years, and they're core to running PMOs, they're core to running projects. It's the concept of the art and science, right? I keep going back to it because we keep forgetting about it, and it really is critically important. Art is the ability to drive relationships, right? Build bonds, establish trust with your teams, with your stakeholders, with your leadership. Science, the ability to fill in status reports, drive project schedules, drive risk and issues, drive actions, drive decisions, right? Without these 2 skills, you are going to struggle in this role as both a project manager, a program manager, a portfolio manager, and of course a PMO manager. Art and science is critical to both of these roles. So let's spend a little time on these. Art, it's the one area where PMs often ignore and do not spend enough time, right? When project managers get really good at the art side of their projects, what happens? Well, they build good team and personal relationships. They be human, right? They're human. They're not robots, right? They're kind. They don't drive everything with tools, right? Hitting dates are key. There's no question, but not if you ruin relationships. Project management is a long game, right? So listening and understanding and empathy are all key to being successful, and they're all keys to really driving the art side of your project. Science, that's the logs, the forms, the templates, the tactical deliverables, and the data to run your project. Someone said to me once, it's the data of your project. I think that's so smart, right? Your schedule, your risk, your issue, your action, your status report, your SharePoint site. It's all the data that you use to drive your projects. That's the science. So the art is the relationship and the science is the data. Does that make sense? Therefore, we help project managers by using data and not their gut to make smart project decisions, aka we embrace the science. We don't ignore the art, but we really start embracing the science. So how do we do that, right? How do we turn data, science into decisions, right? Well, data is data, but you can't make decisions from data. You make decisions from knowledge. Data flows through a life cycle to eventually becomes information, and then information becomes knowledge. Everyone says you need data to make decisions, and that's true, but it's a journey. It has to be knowledge. Because data is just data, you have to turn that into knowledge. How do we do that? Well, there's 4 steps. Data is compiled for the project, risks, issues, actions, decisions, and then it flows to information. It's often looked at as unconnected and standalone. When you compile and connect information to become knowledge. From knowledge, you then gather all the connected information and it forms knowledge about the project, and with knowledge you can take action and you can make smart decisions. Does that make sense? So how do you turn data into decisions? Data goes from data to information, information to knowledge, knowledge into action. And it's these 4 steps that we're going to get into, but this is the triangle. This is called the knowledge triangle, and this is the triangle that you're going to want to really love and learn and understand so you can get away from using your gut and using smart project decisions. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's take time now and go through this process of using data in your projects to obtain information, to grow your knowledge, and then take action. See, data is amazing, but you need to take the data through a series of steps before you can use it. Data is just data. I'll say that again. Data is just data. Okay, so let's jump it down. It all starts with data, right? We all love data, but data is data, and you can't action or make decisions on data as it must go through that 4-step process where it eventually gets to a point where you can take action. So what is data? Data in the world of project management is, of course, project management data, right? There's no question. This is the data you gather during the life of a project. You can imagine projects generate a ton of data through their life cycle from initiation to close, such as risk data, issue data, budget data. And once you have that data, your job is to compile it. In a process, you start to formulate information. Okay, so data by itself is just data, but when you compile it and start connecting it, it becomes information. Okay, data by itself is good, we've said that, but information's better. But information by itself is often looked at as unconnected or isolated. and therefore requires connecting to other data points to formulate knowledge. For example, we know a project as a budget risk, and in that risk log for many months, right? So we see that in the project, it's got a budget risk, it's been there month after month. That's called information. Or on that same page, we go over budget, under budget, the same project, sorry. We go over budget, under budget, over budget for months and months. That too is information. That over a course of months is information. But it's unconnected. The questions you need to ask is, why is it going over and under budget? Well, if there's a budget risk in the risk log, by itself, it's just information. When you start to understand the why, it becomes knowledge. You're taking unconnected pieces of data and turning them into knowledge. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. Now we have knowledge. Knowledge is gaining more information about the project data. Project managers need to connect data together in the information stage to create knowledge and therefore act on it. Only when you have knowledge can you make decisions, drive actions, and successfully execute your project. So in this example, a budget risk on each risk log and the project's budget variance going up and down each month should be connected and investigated. Connecting those two together and understanding why it's happening gives you the knowledge, and then you can do something about it. It's not about throwing up a random risk in a risk log or a random issue in an issue log and saying, look, I have them. No. It's about reviewing, consuming, and then deciding what to do about them on your project. It's about looking at the data, looking at the trends, and make smart project decisions. Does that make sense? So if you've got a budget risk, right, and then you start seeing that going over budget, under budget, over budget, right, you connect those two together, that becomes knowledge, and then you can make decisions. So the question is, are you making smart project decisions without going through this process? Right? Are you connecting those two logs together with the various happenings of the project and then saying, oh, we got to do something about that? Right? It makes you ponder, right? It does make you thinking. So you're surrounded by all this data, but are you using it to make smart project decisions? Make sense? And then what we do is we go into action. Now that you've taken the project data through these steps, we're at a point where we can act. We can make smart project decisions. So what are some of the action steps you can take on a project? Well, that's easy. Let's look at some of the examples, right? Let's start with a project that goes over budget, under budget, over budget, right? Month after month after month. What are some of the actions, right? Well, you could do nothing. You could sit with the finance team and determine why this is happening. Is it actuals? Is it estimates? What is happening exactly? Then put steps in place to correct this from occurring. You can sit with the project team and determine how they're estimating their time, and then put steps to correct that from occurring as well. So this is just one of the hundreds and hundreds of examples of you seeing something occurring. You're seeing it in your issue or risk log, either or, right? And then you're doing something about it. Wow, how powerful is that triangle now? Right? Data becomes information, information becomes knowledge, knowledge becomes action, right? It just becomes a very, very, very different and very powerful conversation when you flow your data through this process, and then you start making smart project decisions. You get out of using your gut and you get into making smarter decisions. Okay. Now, let's jump into this. Now we have all this data and we need to make smart decisions. Let's now jump into my favorite topic, which is dashboards and reports. Okay, so again, project management has got a ton of data within it, right? We've seen that before, but data just sits in logs, right? And rarely do project managers take the time to really understand that data. Data-driven project managers take data and turn into smart project decisions going through that knowledge triangle we just talked about. And there's really endless possibilities of dashboards and reports you can produce for your projects. Okay? So when you think about Power BI and you think about dashboards and reporting, right, you really think about BI tools giving you two main benefits: flexibility and insights, right? Flexibility is you can bring in a ton of different data and different data points. And then the insights are you can make insights from them, right? And then you can make smart decisions. So having tools that can span and normalize data sets, move business from data to knowledge and knowledge to action, the BI loop, the knowledge triangle, there's a multiple different terms for it, but you see the point there is you're making smarter project decisions when you're using Power BI and Power BI type tools. And so insights and flexibilities is a great starting point to the great benefits you're going to use. Then you get a set of dashboards, right? Here's one dashboard, right? Business metrics dashboards. What kind of smart data decisions can you make from metrics, right? Multiple metrics. Here's another one, right? On internal financial status, customer satisfaction, just pure metrics. Then we get into pure project reports, right? Here are the risks, here are the hours, here's the cost summary, here's the business value that we're obtaining. Here's another one: a business value, resources, cost, change requests, your marketing status. Here's another dashboard, right? And we just go on from tasks to schedules to percent completes. How many tasks are started? How many are unstarted, right? Here's a risk dashboard. Again, very, very powerful. You're using a bubble chart here to really show how risky your project is. Here's a resource dashboard, again with another bubble chart on how are we actual scheduled hours versus actual hours. Here are costs for these dashboards. Again, you can make amazing project decisions and really understand what's happening with your project when you're spending the time and you're analyzing and you're putting great Power BI dashboards and reports to give you the insights and flexibility on your data. Here's another dashboard, right? Issue and change dashboard, right? What's your issue status? What are your change requests? How many changes are hitting your project? What do you think? Like, these are absolutely amazing dashboards that are available that you can get great insights and make smart project decisions. Let me ask you a question. Are you interested in creating these dashboards yourself? Would that be something of value to you? Or do you want to continue to leave your risks, your issues, your actions, your decisions, your schedule, your resources, your hours, your costs, all in individual logs you never deal with, and you never actually make smarter and smart project decisions because they're sitting in unconnected logs? Well, I want to introduce to you my brand new, been around for a while, but it's still fairly new, my Power BI Dashboards and Reports online course. I'm really, really excited about this course. People that have been using it have been loving it. I taught it live, multiple students across multiple Sundays. It was absolutely fabulous. I got amazing feedback on it. I'm going to leave you guys the link, especially you guys live. I'm going to leave you the link for replay folks. You can get with me by sending me an email at support@dowpublishingllc.com. I'll get you the link as well. For folks that are live, you're going to get an instant 20% discount on that. But we've got 12 modules, right? That's going to take you from installing Power BI to creating dashboards and reports that are templates that are out there, that are some of the reports you just saw, but they're going to be using your data, right? So your data, they're the modules from module 1 all the way to module 12, which is a bonus module. You're going to love it. It's going to take you step by step on building your own dashboards and reports. There's an Excel template. There's a Power BI template. You get all the templates. You get the Excel. You replace the Excel data with your data, and you'll start seeing your reports. How powerful is that? Super, super excited about that. All right, let me wrap up. I'm really, really excited about this topic. So start to consider that data needs to go through a series of steps before it can become actionable. Think about you're ensuring that you're connecting the data points together to form knowledge, right? Knowledge allows you to take action. Dashboards and reports will give you the tools you need to understand your data to a whole new level. Embrace the future, becoming a data-driven project manager. Here's my information. Here's my email, buildout.publishingllc.com. So you can get that discount there as well with the link. Here are my 4 books that are up on Amazon: Continuous Status Monitoring, PMO Service Offering, Building and Running and Shutting Down a PMO, and then of course Project Management Communication Tools. Thanks again for attending. For the live folks, I'm going to take questions now. I'm really, really excited about it. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you online. Thanks.